Go away, buddy. I'm doing a walk. Um, another day, another walk through the horse shit of life. What could we discuss in today's presentation? These crazy horses. What could we discuss? I have noticed this trend where people say corny things, and it's usually, along the lines of, "You've got to keep moving. What did you do to move today? To enhance your physical well-being or your mental well-being, or that sort of thing." That's the gist of it. People I work with, I'm in mental health. I'm in the mental health field, and some of these women therapists are some of the proponents of these ideas. I mean, and it's not that it's a bad thing. Yes, movement's good. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, if you were to just lay in bed, eventually you wouldn't be able to get up out of bed, right? Okay. So it's not that movement is bad. It's just that it's this underlying, what do you want to call it? Underlying thing of this toxic positivity, I suppose, where if we just keep moving, I mean, we're going to be winners in life. We're going to live forever. We're just trying to basically get from one day to the next, right? And then what? And even on some channels, channels that are put out there about maybe older people, and that same thing, just keep moving. And you'll see some comment, "I'm 75 years old and I understand the concept of moving and continuing forward." And to what? I mean, that's always my question, right? I always have to be the Debbie Downer. I guess you could say. Be the Debbie Downer and present the question of what exactly are we moving forward to in this thing called time, inertia. Don't come mess with me, buddy. He wants to. He's got his thing hanging out. Oh my. Time, inertia. I mean, that's what we're all caught up in, right? So it only makes more sense to just continue forward. We gotta keep moving. But the thing about it is, where is the reality, I guess, of it all is that we're really going nowhere. We are essentially going nowhere in this place. And you can keep moving all you want, but the reality of it is, and the truth of it is that we're actually going nowhere. Keep moving. Where are you moving to? And it's almost like someone, it's almost like digging a hole. Somebody's digs you a big hole, and then they put you in it, and they back up a concrete truck, full of concrete, one of the concrete mixers. Back it up to the hole, put your ass in there, with your ass in there, and they begin to put the concrete in. And then some sadistic person stands over you while you're in the hole and says, "Just keep moving. You can do it." And as you're trudging, first it's ankle deep and you're moving, you're doing good. And then it begins to be knee deep, a little bit harder. And then it's waist deep, and the movement becomes even more difficult. Well, you're trying though, you're trying to move. And then it's, eventually shoulder deep, neck deep. And there you are in the sludge, maybe moving around a little bit. And the sadistic person is over the hole saying, "Just keep moving. You can do it." And as your limbs begin to be able to not push the concrete matter anymore, and then it starts to dry. Uh-oh. And then the sadistic person over the hole says, "What are you doing? If you would have just kept moving, you wouldn't be in that predicament." I mean, obviously, a sadistic thing to say. Only a psycho would say something like that, or say something like that to you while you're in that hole. Then eventually the concrete has fully dried. There you are, dead in the hole. And the sadistic psycho says, "Well, it's his fault. He just quit moving." I know that's a stupid sort of analogy, but that's what those comments feel like. It feels like somebody who's just, I don't know. I don't want to say that somebody's like a psycho sadistic person that suggests that you keep moving forward, but it almost feels like that, because the reality of it is one day you will not be going forward, you will be in the ground. No more moving. And it's like this notion that, if we just keep moving, we're going to just move on to forever. No, that's not correct. It's not only not correct, it's almost disingenuous to suggest that. And when I hear people say that, it's like this toxic positivity from, some work people or whatever, "What did you do to move today?" Well, I mean, I did what I could. I went to the gym. I'm out here walking. I mean, that's good. I mean, but inevitably, I mean, it's not going to propel you forward for forever. Now, is it? It will get you down the road just a little further. For some, you might have a day left in this place. For some, maybe, I don't know, a couple of years. Maybe some 20, maybe some 50. But at the end of the day, all 8 billion people, or however many there are on this planet, are going to be gone. Eradicated from existence. And then more shit suits will come into the reality and continue to move forward in the inertia. And some sadistic bastard in that generation will be saying the same thing. "Just keep moving." Technology will assist you. Yeah, technology isn't assisting shit. Unless technology eradicates death itself, then technology hasn't done a damn thing. It's just pulled the wool over your eyes, and you have bought into a fiction. But this reality is full of fictions. Well, anyway, I guess that's my rant on a certain type of toxic positivity I run across on a daily. And if I didn't mention, I'm in the mental health field. I mean, it's probably no surprise, you know. And most people in mental health are not grounded in anything, you know, substantial. I mean, it's just this weird culture of individuals that are into this weird type of thinking. It's not like most people in mental health could even tell you who Carl Jung was, or what he was even about, or what his research was about. I mean, most of them are in psychology, you know, stuff like Psychology Today, stupid shit that promote these silly notions. And that's just, I don't know, it's misleading. And just think about the clients that these people, you know, who these people work with. But, you know, it's almost like you have to be this way with clients, because would they come back to you if you presented the concrete analogy to them? They'd be like, God, man, this dude's like fucking depressing. And see, there you have it. Most people will most definitely accept a comfortable lie over discomforting truth. And it is an absolute fact. You couldn't be that truthful with people and they come back to see you for anything. I mean, what if these psychiatrists were like, well, here's the antidepressant or the anti-anxiety medication. It will numb the fact that the concrete's hardening around you, but at least you won't feel it as much. I mean, I don't know. Somebody might find that liberating to have somebody tell them the truth. I really don't know. You can't have truthful conversations with people, really and truly. I try, and it gets me nowhere. People look at me and they say, God, you're such a Debbie Downer. Oh, well, I'm just presenting some things here that are actually based in, you know, psychology, like real psychology, neuroscience even. Well, I don't know. Good grief. I would just rather face the truth. I think that's rare. I think that's rare in life for people to do that. And if you are one of those who would rather face the, you know, the horrible truth of it all, as opposed to sugarcoating everything. What did you do today for self-care? Did you take a walk, or did you have a cappuccino or eat some Nutella? I mean, I'm not lying. This is what I witness. People say. Oh my God. It's just something else. What do? I was looking at something, or thinking about something different. There was just to switch the topic just a little, there was a experiment done, I think it's back in the 70s, I can't remember the neuroscientist who did the research, and basically it went like this. He had his subjects just sit still in a room, and he had them hooked up with some electrodes, how neuroscientists did back in the day, have them hooked up to some electrodes. And just flick your wrist. And so that's what happened. Every once in a while the subjects would flick their wrist, and he would record the data. And what he came to find out is that the thought to flick the wrist came long before the actual urge to do it. I don't know, something like along the lines of the whole thing was, I don't know, the whole idea was already planted. In other words, the idea was already implanted in your mind before you ever did it. That's the concept anyway. That was the concept of the experiment. I'm not very good at explaining such experiments, but that was the basic notion of it, that whatever you think, whatever you engage in is already predetermined by something else. And that goes even back to Gnostic type of thinking, the demiurge and all that. And it's just all this whole shit show, is a script. And once you realize that, if it's possible for you to realize that, not everybody can. And if you were to present this type of information to 1,000 people, one out of 1,000 might really grasp what you're talking about. So as a pneumatic, you realize that you have to just become an observer. You have to become an observer and not take seriously these thoughts that come into your mind, thoughts that might cause anxiety or depression, that sort of thing, distress, because that's what the whole system is reliant upon, is you being in a state of depression, anxiety, uneasiness, whatever, You see it all the time in the news cycles. It's all there just to get people worked up, right? I have had to reconstruct the way I think about it. I would consider myself to be a pneumatic. I would consider most people to be hylics. And there's a few psychics that were kind of like Neo in the Matrix, where they just feel like something's off, but they can't put their finger on it. And I'm not saying I can fly through the air. Although I did have a weird dream last night. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place. But one thing leads to another. I did have a dream last night that, as in many dreams, I'm not confined to, what do you want to call it, the makeup of this place, the limitations. This reality is so limiting. And in the dreams, I'm kind of outside that. And in one of the dreams, I was actually hovering over people in the air. I mean, hovering, like, not like flying like Superman, but just hovering, weightless. And in the dream, I kind of had this feeling like this isn't possible, and then I fell. Sort of like Neo in the Matrix, but when I fell, you know, I landed easily. I landed softly, and in the dream, I just laughed. I was like, that was crazy. But at some point in that dream, I had control over it, over that moment in the dream, until I started to doubt that I did. That's a weird deal. I don't know quite how I got to talking about that. Going from toxic positivity, I guess, to realizing, you know, the situation that we're in this 3D world. And we're just keep moving, like anything in this reality is actually worth moving toward. And then when you experience dreams like that, and then you come back out of the dream, like, for real, you wake up. I mean, which one is it? Which one are we waking up into? Is the dream what's real, or is waking back up into this reality, this hell zone? Is this really what's real? Makes you wonder, huh? I think there's been some research done along those lines, and I think there's going to come a day where people really begin to question some things. You know, what's beyond the veil? I think there's actually a channel out there called that, and they've taken down a lot of their videos because I guess it's just too, you know, I mean, the demiurge doesn't want the sparks to wake up, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Well, anyway, how much time are we in here? 22 minutes. Just thoughts, man. I tell you. But this toxic positivity is just, I don't know, it irritates me, but at the same time, I'm like, well, it's been here forever. It may not be this new age version of it, but it's definitely been here since time began and inertia began. And people in the 14th century might not have said, just keep moving. Well, maybe if you were a slave driver or something. All right, I'm done.